welcome to the Romanian edition of BP Reloaded. I have made it here to Constanța. I've been here 4 days so far. Still not going to show you any training. Actually, I couldn't bring my tripod, so I hadn't been able to video training. But I do have a lot of backlog videos, so I'll get to that. And the first one is this project I've been working on. Every time I would go home, I would videotape a little bit of my city to kind of let you know where I came from, and I call it Butterfly Origins. And the first person up is Greg Daniels. He is one of the people that originally started in the program, and he's my barber. So I was able to go to him to get one haircut before I came here. So just check out the video that I did. I am going to get a haircut. As you can see, I have not shaved in days. Whenever I'm coming home and I know that I gotta come home, I don't shave because I wait for my man G Daniels to hook me up. And our backstory is we were really good friends before we both started playing table tennis, and we both made it to the finals of under 16 boys. And he beat me in the finals. And when he shook my hand, he whispered to me, "I'm retired." You don't win a national championship and retire before you leave the court. If I'm not mistaken, that should be GD's car right there. Came by my house a little bit ago. Let's see if he's in the barber shop. How you doing, Mr. Smith? Is Greg in there? Yeah. Okay. That's right. I got video just to make sure that I know people. I got video just to make sure I know people. Hey, you ain't got no warrants out, do you? What's going on, man?
What's going on?
My man, what's going on, though? I got you on camera, man. This is official.
That's cool.
It's official. 1987 under 16 boys champion. He beat me, and then he retired. And he always tell people, the last match I won a national title from my best friend. And I don't think he gonna never let me forget that. But thank you. And it's time to get a haircut because I definitely look like I've been out in the woods, man. There I am, looking fresh. You're back, looking fresh. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
My wife actually will look at me now. Thanks to that man right there. G Daniels.
Forever.
1987 under 16 boy champ. I'm never gonna let you forget that.
Junior Olympics.
Yeah, you beat me and then you retired, man. If you're gonna retire, you should have just let me won, man.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
Not really.
Yes, you did, because the whole time home you was bragging. You said, it's over. It's over.
You didn't know what I was talking about.
And then went home and never trained again.
Never trained again. Got kicked out the butterfly.
G Daniels, people. Okay, now that I got the haircut, now I'm on my way to the original butterfly. And instead of explaining the story, I explain it while I'm in the car. So check it out. Okay, as you can see, just left the barber shop. I get a lot of haircuts, but that's a haircut that I love to get because I know that guy. Just get in a chair and let him do what he does. Next, I'm going to take you to the original Martin Kilpatrick building. If you don't know, I think the backstory is there was Martin Kilpatrick that was selling Butterfly and Stiga at the same time, and I think the Japanese had approached them, and then I think the Swedish or the French, whoever was in charge of Stiga, and basically said, you're going to have to make a choice. You're either going to be the exclusive dealer for North America for Butterfly or Stiga. And at that time, just the Japanese had a much better reputation to do business. So I think they chose Butterfly. And 1987, Ty Hoff and Bowie Martin basically went around the schools and went to the pep rallies and went to the PE classes and basically did exhibitions. So you came there, and did an exhibition for PE, threw some rackets in everybody's hand, and people started playing. Now what happened was the day they came to my school, I wasn't at school that day because actually I got into I got like beat up like the weekend. That Monday, I wasn't at school because I got beat up and I had like a busted nose, and because I did taekwondo, I got jumped by 5 guys, and I told my mom I didn't want to do taekwondo anymore. I don't want to do taekwondo anymore. So what I did was went into the recreation center, which is Reed Street. I'll take you by Reed Street Recreation Center, and I walked in there. I looked at bumper pool, Space Invaders, checkers, chess, foosball. And as soon as I looked around and assessed what was in that little rec room, Ty Hoff walked in and basically said, does anybody want to learn table tennis? So that's actually how I was introduced to table tennis. And that first day was completely, you know, this really important moment, because I knew that was my first adult decision that I was making. I'm going to be a professional table tennis player. Went home, contacted, you know, my family, brought everybody into the living room, and I said, I have an announcement. I'm going to be a professional table tennis player. My mom just walked out of the kitchen, and my brother said, get your ass out of the way of the TV. I don't care what you're going to become. Just move your ass. So that was kind of my introduction to letting them know that I was going to be a professional table tennis player. And a lot of great juniors. Greg, that we just saw, he was one of the juniors that came from the program. Eddie Farmer, I got some highlights from him. We went to play some, and after 20-something years, the guy can still loop. He didn't even know what Tenergy was. I put it on his racket, and the guy just looped like he had always used it. Oscar Melvin was the other player from the program that really basically, you know, identified this program based on his level. And his brother was a really good player, Mark. Butch Austin, Mike Webb, Thomas Brown, a really close friend of mine, Howard Phillips, was in the program. A lot of really good players came from the program, and I didn't think I was the most talented. I thought I worked the hardest. But I really was hoping that more players would come out of this program, because if you got the program, you're basically world class, you know. And it's hard to assess ratings and numbers, but if you come out of this program and you keep going, you're going to be world class. So I'm taking you by the old Butterfly. Now, they moved into a new building, but from what I remember, I think they still own this building. As you can see, this is Martin Kilpatrick Table Tennis. This is where I got started. So let's get out and I'll give you kind of a tour of the place. Now, so this was the building, and this front part was basically the office. As you can see now, it's for sale. I think they're trying to go ahead and sell it. This front part used to be, it's two sections, the front part and the end part. You see the light blue building was the old part, and then the dark blue was new part. And this is new. As you can see here, this is gravel. But all of this used to be gravel. I don't know how over the years, you probably can still see it's gravel under this grass. This grass is kind of not legitimate grass. It's just kind of maybe just like quack grass or weed that's grown. But this is the building. This front part, this last window represents the office. And once you get to this fan, the rest of this is basically warehouse. This is where all the Butterfly equipment was. And this new part, and maybe half of this, is where tables were up. And this is where we trained at. And this sign is at least 25 years old. That does not look like a bad sign. 25 years, you would think that it looked worse. Still looks good. This is another part of the warehouse back here. So this fence wasn't here. I used to go to middle school right across from here.
and I would come back, come in here, assemble rackets, get orders ready, ship them out, and then after the place closed at 5 o'clock, I'd go back and I'd loop until 8 o'clock. So this was a really important place for me in my career. Without this place, then you wouldn't know Brian Pace. Brian Pace would probably just be Brian Pace, an engineer, or Brian Pace that works in marketing, not Brian Pace, a table tennis player. And the reason they moved out of this building is this, in my city, this is Wilson, North Carolina. In the city, this originally was a good deal to be living here because it was cheap. But the downfall was this was the lowest part of this city. This is the lowest point in the city. This area right here is the lowest point. And what happened is in 1998, there was an unbelievable hurricane that missed South Florida where I was living and came down here and basically flooded this building by at least 4 feet. And I remember opening USA Today magazine, and the owner of this company was basically on a boat sitting in front of this building. So they lost a tremendous amount of money in the hurricanes. And it started with all of this being flooded, and it just flooded over. So it went, you can see that's probably 4 feet right there, 3.5, 4 feet. And that went up even another 4 feet. So it's like 8 feet of water, this whole area. Relative of mine passed away during this flood, and that's why they moved to the old city.
Okay, that's all you get for this episode, but I got a lot of stuff. I'll take you around the city. You'll see more and you'll hear more. I had been kind of teasing this Peter Paul Pretty Bun training session. And I have some highlights from that. He's a really solid player. And now that I'm here in Romania, I feel that same kind of quality with the practice partners here. You know, when I first started looping, you know, he got a really solid block, and it's really one of those blocks that, you know, like you kind of fear because you can feel that integrity behind the block, like he's not going to budge. The next thing that I liked was really good counter looping, solid counter looping. We had a lot of good counter looping points. Not a lot of people where I'm at right now really engage in counter looping that much, and since he's a mid-distance player, then counter looping is really his thing. So check out some of the highlights from that. Since I changed the pips, you know, there's been this whole, you know, it's been a lot of discussion, and I'm really flattered by, you know, everybody, you know, chiming in. And I explained before that I'm so much more comfortable hitting than looping, and here's was me just playing some backhands with Peter Paul, and it doesn't really look like anything. I realized a lot of it didn't translate into video, but a couple of times I was able to really just like pop one, and then, you know, I was kind of I got him to paralyze a little bit, and then he started backhand looping, and I could immediately tell just putting the pips on the ball had him, you know, at bay. There's some players that like to generate their own spin, and there's some players that like to use the spin that's on the ball, and I suspect, just from how I was blocking it, he's one of the people that really that he liked to use the spinners on the ball. So if you don't make spin, it's a little bit of a problem for him. And then, you know, I just started snapping some backhands. And then I popped one and I said, see, that's the one that the players are going to have a problem. Even here, whenever I'm playing and I just pop one, that's the one that makes the difference, you know. But I got to really master that timing. And then I just went ahead and just kind of hit some more backhands, but pulled back maybe 20% on the force. And then I did another test. It was hitting backhands, step around, make a loop, and then come back and then pop a backhand. And again, that one gave me some success. So now that I'm here training, those are kind of the things I'm going to be thinking about. Just really snapping that backhand and coming off the loop where there's one angle and coming back to the backhand and hitting it hard, which is going to require another angle. This first drill, I make a serve, and he has a choice. He either pushes out wide to my forehand, and then push to my middle, and then once it goes to my backhand, it's free. Or he can go middle, forehand, and come to the backhand, and then it's free. And what you're going to notice is that the strategy starts, and it pretty much does a full circle. And right at the end of this 8-minute drill, we basically are right back at the beginning. So let's take a look at it. Okay, for this first one, you'll see that I do a loop, and I miss it, and I'm trying to find the range. And the second one, you'll see that I make it, and he's finding the range. So he misses this one off the end. Come back to the very next point, and you'll see now he hits in the net. So you can see he's trying to find the range. And this one, you'll see that he actually finds the range. So now I have to make an adjustment to him finding that range. Now the next point out, I decide that I don't want to play into his hand. So now I want to go down the line with my forehand, because now you found the range. Now you can see he's still having a problem finding range. And for me, I don't have to make any adjustments. Now you see he laid that ball up to the middle. Smart play. Again, he's still trying to find the range. Now let's slow-mo this so we can take a look. I snap a backhand. You can see he lays it up. I snap another backhand, he lays it up. This is going to be where my strength is. As you can see here, he finds a range, and I missed the loop. He finds a range now. I make a loop, and he's waiting for that next loop. So now let's slow-mo this. Now that I know that he's found the range, when I'm making a hit, instead of going to his forehand, I want to go to the backhand. You can see I also put my backhand to his middle. Again, let's slow-mo that again. If you see, once the point goes out and I make my loop to his forehand, I know he's ready to go cross court, and I want to change it up by going down the line. Now he's still having a problem finding the range. Now you can see he's laying the ball up to the middle. And again, I should have went cross court and not down the line. And you'll see at the end, we go right back at the same thing, middle. But that was a good play. Now, as you can see, there's a lot happening in this, 8-minute drill. And for me, I really didn't have to make any adjustments to what type of ball he was playing, because all of the balls came with the same frequency because it was smooth. But as you can see, sometimes he would loop the ball off the end, sometimes he would loop the ball in the net. And that made it really easy for me to be one step or a half step ahead, because every time he made an adjustment, I was able to make another adjustment. And the only advantage was the pips, because I'm just holding my racket out and off the end, in the net, off the end, in the net. And by the time he get the range, I'm already saying, now he got it, I'll go to the next thing. So that's really the main goal of having the pips, and it suits my backhand so much better. When I go back and I look at exercises where I was looping, I'm really impressed with the backhand loop that I have. I got to be honest with you. I'm impressed. Like, am I sure this was a good idea? But honestly, like, I don't really like backhand loop, but I prefer hitting so much more. So when I look at all of those times that I'm making really good backhand loops, I'm saying that guy is an imposter. And what I'm doing now is really who I want to be. So now let's go on to drill number 2. Okay, drill number 2 is I make a short serve, and he has a choice. He can push deep to my backhand or short anywhere. And you know, this drill almost takes off right where the last drill left, and there's still some fascinating things about how the sequences play out. So I want to take you through it, and I'll really break it down for you, because I'm not sure if anybody has really explained the nuances of how things can shift a little bit, and it makes a big difference. So I want to go over that with you. Okay, if you look at this first play, you see that I start off making a backhand loop, and I'm still trying to go right down the line from the last drill. And let's take a look at this slow-mo. You'll see here that the backhand loop, the ball doesn't come off the table. So he's not able to get his forehand counter loop range. And here you can see that he actually does get the range. I make a backhand loop, but open court right down the line. And he misses because of the difference in contrast between the pips and the smooth. There I made a flip, backhand loop, still doesn't have the range yet. Now you can see, even though it is low, it still has enough spin on it. And again, here you see that he does get the range, and I'm already one step ahead, ready with the next forehand loop. Now you'll see here he does get the range. So now I have to shift it up just a little bit. So now I make a backhand loop, and I decide, you see he's going to move right now to the forehand while I'm going to the backhand. So now he has to do that change up. So come in and make a flip cross court. And really there I just got beat on the play. Didn't have a choice. Had I pushed it, he would attack. So I just have to make a flip. Backhand loop. See, it didn't come up. So that's a really important thing that, you know, if you're able to backhand loop with the pips. And again, it's another one of those cases to where, you know, I make the backhand loop, he's tentative about the block. I get the open court, wide to the forehand. Come in now, make another flip, cross court wide, backhand loop, forehand. It's another one of those sequences I like, because now I make a backhand loop. He makes the block. I decide to go to the backhand. Of course, he's going to go to the backhand, and now I have an open court winner down the line, but it's pips, so he doesn't get a chance to get around it the way he wants. So that's pips to my advantage. And that time you saw I made a flip to the middle and play a backhand wide. Backhand loop, forehand miss. But what I like here is that backhand loop has him tentative. So as you can see, it really is a little bit of a problem, you know, when you have to deal with the contrast between the pips and the smooth. And I'm putting it together so uniquely that I can constantly make changes. And what I didn't show in that video is him. Well, I actually didn't do it, but pushing and me hitting, that's kind of the next phase. I have it, but you know, it's one of those things I'm going to hold, you know, for the last minute, because when I pop the ball, you know, like everybody's paralyzed, you know, but you got to have enough timing, you got to have enough physical ability, and you really got to have enough leverage over the net. And what I've been focusing on is figuring out which one I'm going to pop and which one I'm going to loop in this. And now I'm deciding that I'm going to loop everything. Loop everything, because that Art gives the ball, you know, a consistent play on the table, and then from there I can choose 30% of those balls and pop them, you know. I hope that this gave you a little bit more detail about how intricate it is, you know, when you're playing. I don't think I played him in 10 years. Yeah, it was almost 10 years to the date. So it, you know, I didn't have a playbook on him. He didn't have a playbook on me, and we both walked away saying we have a little bit more knowledge. And you know, if the table tennis gods see it fit, we'll clash later on. I do have some good news. Working my corner, I got a big team of people that's helping me. A lot of people have helped me out financially to make this trip possible. A lot of people, you know, have just donated money. A lot of people have bought, you know, videos to say, hey, I need to improve, but I want to donate money to you. Like that, okay, I would buy 2 videos, I'll buy 3 because I want to help your progress, you know. So I really appreciate all the help with that, because, you know, it's unique trying to be a privateer, to where you say, I'm not sponsored by anybody, I want to make the Olympic team. And you know my whole fiasco about sponsors, so I'm not even gonna get into that, but it takes a huge team to be behind it. But a really important person that has come on board, and that is Sean O'Neill, 5-time U.S. champion, 2-time Olympian. He's going to be working my coach's corner at the Nationals and at the Olympic trials, and that's really important. He played a big part in my career when I first got to the Olympic Training Center, because I really didn't understand how to be an athlete. And in some other episodes, you hear me talk about him. Actually, the first episode, the pre-episode, like BP Reloaded, like response. Somebody had started the conversation, and I kind of gave my story, and I explained how Sean O'Neill influenced me early. So we've already wrote down like the initial plan, and I'm really excited. When you have somebody that's made the Olympic team twice, and you have somebody that's won the national championship 5 times, you got a guy in your corner that really he understands every aspect. It's not going to be anything that I'm involved in that he doesn't know. So stay tuned. Episode up next, I think I got 3 more episodes. I got one for a practice match, I got one for training with Nelson one last time, and I got one training with my buddy Jay. So I'll try to keep it interesting, and after those episodes I'll have enough training here to where I can show you what's happening here in Romania, because like right now, as you can see, this is one wall, this is one wall. I got like cabin fever, but it's perfect because it's the whole Rocky Balboa scene. So I'm really enjoying it. Wife is not too happy, but I'll make it up to her later. So BP Reloaded, peace.